Video games. Can that gaming impact be a good thing and a bad thing? The deeper questions are what makes playing video games so addictive that it causes psychological and social effects to a person at any age? And how can gaming addiction impact a person's life in a positive way that society realizes that good can come from playing? Answering these questions can be different for everyone, as everyone has their own opinions. According to Moge and Romano's mental health article, there is a disorder called Internet Gaming Disorder classified in the World Health Organization. Effects from IGD are lack of control of gaming behavior, prioritize gaming over other activities, and persist with this pattern despite adverse consequences. From this, symptoms of depression and anxiety have correlated to high video game dependency. The other side is the mediating role of coping, which refers to the psychological or behavioral efforts to reduce that stress in society. That social support is important because it is a major intervention for addictive disorders. In Parrott, Rogers, Towery, and Hakeem's mental illness article, video games can be impacted positively and negatively. Positively, video games can cause that feeling of motivation and empathy for characters in the games. Negatively, they can cause that sense of addiction and stress for not completing the game. Both sides impact largely on a person to the outside world. Video games plays a role in our society as it is a topic to rant about. Society has put video game addiction in debate, but researchers have been constantly working to always end up with the evidence of being highly contested or inconclusive. It is stated that more than a dozen researchers in education, psychology, mental health, and gaming research have called the scientific basis as weak. Another type of addiction or way of coping is collecting, whether it be craft in-game or in real life. The craft definition is something tangible, something creative, something handmade, something of quality, and something with a sort of soul that tells the story of the maker, the culture, and the natural material environment. Examples of real-life video game craft can be consoles, controllers, game discs, or game covers. In-game craft could be a person's passion for that game, as a person cannot make a video game tangible. The things that are crafted for video games give that meaning and purpose. When a game gets popular, it can travel globally, just like a craft does in local to global flow. The game's character and stories are what society falls in love with, which shows the impact it can have on humans. It may be called an addiction, or it can be called a passion. In past years, playing video games can be seen as an addiction, making it bad and unhealthy for people. Then, gaming culture changed that to make playing video games a passion or a profession. Culture has the power to alter and make an impact on another person's or society's ideas. The cultural flow of video games always changes with subjects like school shootings and recent events, but it just shows the possibility of change and improvement. With craft and culture, video games can be connected to the importance of things in society and the world. Ryan Bassford and Jerry Cortez will give their opinions on the topic.
I'm Ryan Bassford from Northville, Michigan. I'm a fifth year at Michigan State. I probably started playing video games in like 8th grade and have played since.
To you, do you think video games can be a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it can be both. In moderation, I think it's really good. Helps you meet new people. You know, it's kind of like a social life if you're talking to people. But if you spend too much time and you let it get into other stuff, then it's just bad and inhibits your life.
How can a person be addicted to video games?
I think like these video games are just made so that they're super fun. You have like a great time, and if you let that get to your head and you just keep chasing that like dopamine rush of playing the game, and you never want to get off, you stay up late at night like 5 a.m. and then you start skipping class. I think that's how it like becomes a habit to just play the game all day, every day, and I think that can be really bad.
What good can come from playing video games?
At the end of the day, like, video games, it's kind of just like a social circle. Like, you get with your friends, you talk to them, you know, the entire time, and you're kind of just hanging out. Like, and I guess you don't have that, like, real-life interaction, but if these are your real friends, it, like, doesn't really matter. You can go online, just talk to friends, and I think it's just a good way to, like, have a good time.
How can you take gaming in a professional level?
So, like, personally, I've done a little bit of professional gaming. I've played in the Fortnite World Cup, won really good money there, but it was just because I was really good at the small thing that I wanted to do. And so I think in professional gaming, you just have to be at the very top. Like you have to be the best at whatever you do if you want to become a professional gamer. Now, if you want to like make money other ways, like through YouTube, through streaming, I think that's a lot. I mean, they're both really hard, but I think that's just like it's really hard to start nowadays because you can just get like no traction and it can just go nowhere. You'll never make any money. So I think it's like a kind of like a dream that people have, but I don't think it's very realistic. Um, all in all, just be the best at whatever you do.
Do you think that video games cause school shootings?
No, like not at all. Honestly, everyone as a kid plays violent video games, and you can't really associate that with like one kid. That's kind of an outlier because everyone does it. I think it more has to do with like how kids were raised and like families, like hunting, like gun, like how the family controls guns. I think it just has more to do with anything else other than video games.
Why do you think adults play video games still?
Um, I mean, I think video games can be played at just any age. At the end of the day, it's just a hobby that people enjoy doing. And I have a bunch of friends. They have jobs, but they come home at 5 p.m. They don't know what to do with their lives. Rather than be bored, I think just video games are a good outlet. Be social and have fun. So yeah.
Hey, I'm Jerry. I graduated Michigan State last year, spring 2021, and I produce video games for a living.
Can gaming be a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that gaming is a good thing just because, it's a good stress reliever, and also like you get to connect with so many cool people, but it can also be a bad thing if you depend on it too much for socializing. Because I think it should be balanced within your life. It shouldn't be something dominating it.
How can a person be addicted to video games?
I went to game design school at Michigan State, so actually, there's certain things that trigger things in your brain, like gotcha systems and ways to make you play one more game, and those are usually just like the one more mentality is like the start of the addiction, and it kind of just like spirals out to you spending more money or spending more time on those things. Yeah.
What benefits can come from playing video games?
I think that with some benefits that come with it is like you get connected with a bunch of people. So like, internet friends, and I've had a couple of them actually in person. They're pretty cool. Additionally, if you have the sort of like social media skill, you can like get sponsorships and influences based on how big your audience is, and actually make some money off of it too.
Does gaming cause school shootings?
No, I don't think gaming causes school shootings. I think that gaming really can support bad mental health, and that bad mental health is kind of like, at least in my opinion, the origin of why school shootings happen. It isn't necessarily directly because of video games, but bad mental health that kind of does that.